Welcome back for another library haul. So I put in a bunch of different requests. They always seem to come in at the same time. This is from like late August and we're now almost halfway through September. They all came in about like 2 days. So I have a massive stack. These are the books I will be talking about over the next like little bit. I don't know if it's gonna all be September. It might be into October too. Actually, there are a couple that I ordered in advance for October because I knew I didn't want to have the wait go past where I wanted it. So this first one is the one that I am actually starting on, and my bookmark is actually not even mine. It was just one that was in there. So I have somebody else's little name taggy tag, but I don't know where mine went. It was there when I picked it up, and then it was just magically gone. So anyways, this one. So this is Celtic Myths and Legends by, and I'm probably gonna get this name wrong. It looks like Martin, but it's with a Y, so I don't know if it's like supposed to be different. Also, there is a fly in here. Sorry if it's distracting and obnoxious. I've tried to kill it for the past few hours. I have given up because I can't get it. So it's still summer here, and yeah, it's still here. So anyways, it's by Martin Whittock something? I don't know. But this is a book that I'm curious about. I want to know more about some Celtic stuff. I'm trying to get a little bit more well-versed in that mythology-ish. This book so far that I have read, I'm not terribly far in, obviously. It's even more complicated than I thought it was gonna be. Because A, they don't describe places, which is like, cool. They just assume that you know regions, and I'm like, I don't. I honestly can barely tell you the difference between England and the UK. You just don't learn that in school. That's not a thing. Like, we kind of learn the gist of like main Europe, kind of ish, and that's only if you took European history. It's not a required course. So we didn't spend a lot of time talking about like these random little bits and pieces within the UK, and like, anyways, this book, I'm constantly having to like Google Maps of like, where is this? What is this place? Where is the context? Because there's no map. I kind of wish this book had a map for people like me who did not ever grow up learning of these places. Like, I can't tell you where Wales and Scotland are in relation to each other. I literally couldn't tell you. Or like, I think it's at Cornwall or something. Like, there's a few different places, so like that's been super fun. And also, apparently Celtic can also apply clear down to flippin' Spain. And I'm like, I personally never thought that. I don't know, I guess I kind of lumped them more into like Greek and like that general thing, if not their own thing going on. It's a magical journey. Also, France is apparently included, which I was like, I mean, maybe, I guess. I don't know. It's a thing. And then you also have like Anglo-Saxon, which is like kind of the Norse, but like kind of not. This is really a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. So keeping on the Celtic trend, I have got this one. So this is Ceridwen, Celtic Goddess of Inspiration by Christopher Hughes. I'm kind of curious about learning some things for the Celtic deities. Ceridwen is a very big name. I've worked with her a few times in the past, so I decided, oh, I didn't even look at the back, but this is fun. I happened to glance. And Olivia from YouTube, Olivia from Pegiptian, she apparently had a thingy thing on the back. We don't know what it says because the library put a little lovely sticker over it, but apparently she shares some stuff. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, so anyways, I'm curious to learn a little bit more about this goddess because again, I'm trying to jump into that field. Again, I loved learning about the Norse, but it's the community attached that is just so toxic. I have a hard time, and like I've talked about it more on my Patreon, so the couple of you over there know what I'm talking about. But like, I'm trying to learn more about like my other side of ancestry because like the England, UK branch of my family tree is not that far removed versus the like Norse Viking side. And like, I'm not huge into like, you have to follow your ancestry, but like at the same time, I'm like, well, I guess I might as well learn about it because like I'm torn with the Norse And so I'm like, I'm gonna learn about the Celts. Why not start with Caradwen? So this next one is one that I was like, you know, maybe. I saw it talked about, I think on like Instagram, so I was like, sure. So this one, I have no idea what this is. This is probably gonna be on Patreon as just like a random little extra perk thing, because it's not really like a witchy book. So this is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I don't know really what it's about. It's in the self-help category. It was, I think, kind of recommended alongside the Your Body Keeps Score one, or the Body Keeps Score book. I'm currently reading through that one, but this was kind of on that same line, and I was like, you know what? Sure. Also, this already had holds out for it, so I'm curious why it's so popular. Next, we have got this one, which is The Real Witch's Handbook, A Complete Introduction to the Craft by Kate West. I feel like, no offense, this small of a book is not the complete introduction, personally. So we'll see. I'm curious. And I don't know. Sometimes the titles, I know they are written in a way to get people to buy it, but like, The Real Witches, like, really? I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, eh. So, we'll see. It's not a big book, so maybe it'll be good. I don't know. So, I wouldn't say it's every month, but every like 2 months it seems like, the library, because I have a saved search for Llewellyn, will tell me when Llewellyn brings in new books to the library. So, this is a new one. I think it just barely came out-ish. So we got this. This is The Living Tarot, Connecting the Cards to Everyday Life for Better Readings by T. Susan Chang, author of Tarot Correspondences. It's one of those like longer books, but it's not too thick, which is nice. I have very little judgment so far, because again, still learning the tarot, but it looks like we're gonna have some like fill in the blanks pages, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, so like actually there's a lot of these. I don't know. It was the new one, because we got the new little sticker, so I figured, why not? Alright, we've hit my section of my little books that I have planned, I have watched for, and these are for next month, but I have them. Because I didn't know if these would be checked out by a lot of people as I got closer, so I was like, you know what? We're gonna get them now. So these will be October, but it's Llewellyn's Little Book of the Dead by, I don't actually know how to say this name at all, even in the slightest. I want to say it looks like Jamie, but I really don't know if that's how it's pronounced. And then the last name, no idea. Definitely Spanish. I would butcher it. But it's part of their Little Book series. I do hope they're going to get the new one that Deborah Blake just did, because that just came out, so I'm hoping the library will get it soon. But yeah, this is one that I've been waiting to go through, because while I really don't feel like I have a lot of say in like celebrating the Day of the Dead, there's a lot of aspects of it that I really enjoy, and that like it's fun. When we go to the cemetery, a lot of times the like Mexican Spanish families, like I don't know if it's just Mexico specifically, like Mexican heritage, that celebrates specifically the Day of the Dead, or if it's a lot of like the Hispanic culture and like the like Central America, all of through there, those little countries that I can't name a lot of them. And like if it comes from Spain too, like, you know, kind of started over there, came over. I don't know. I haven't researched a whole bunch into it. And we've seen from our witchcraft history that history's like kind of iffy on a good day anyways. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's interesting to learn about. There's a lot of crossover, and like, you kind of got to be careful with like appropriation, because like, it's so easy to be like, oh, but it's awesome. And I do want to do some of the things, but then I feel like it's like kind of like not my place. Like Sugar Skulls is awesome. I love the idea. Is it my place though? It's one of those things you have to kind of contemplate on your own. But I do want to read through it, because every time we go to the cemeteries, they're out there too. They're off decorating their family graves. We're off decorating our family graves. It's a wonderful time of just like, hey, and then you go about your life. Keeping in line with that one, we also have this little one. So this is Llewellyn's Little Book of Halloween by Mickey Muller. Again, with the names. But this is one I have wanted to go through for a while, and I decided to wait until now because, again, like, it seemed kind of silly to read through the Halloween book, not in the months of Halloween. And because there's not a whole lot at the library, I'm waiting until October for this, but I wanted to get it before everyone else was like, ooh, I want that book. So I got it early. So this next one is another one that was in the list of new release for the library. I think it did come out pretty recently as well, but like, I don't know. So we got this one. I'm not entirely sure about this, to be honest, but I was like, you know what? Sure. So, Chakras and the Vagus Nerve tap into the healing combination of subtle energy and your nervous system. I'm curious if this is going to be good or not. Not a terribly big book, should be a quick read, but I was like, you know what? Sure, it's new, why not? Next, I decided to do another of Llewellyn's little books. So this is Llewellyn's Little Book of Empathy by Cindy Dale. I'm curious, I don't know. I figured they got it, I might as well read it. So, and these go by really, really fast, honestly, so it'll be interesting. I've liked a lot of these, but there's been a few that I was like, eh. So, we'll see. This next one is one that I see constantly promoted online. Like, whether it's Facebook, Facebook groups, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. I swear I've even seen it a few times on like TikTok. Like, this is just one of those books that a lot of people talk about. And I was like, you know what? I don't know, maybe, I kept going back and forth. Finally, I decided, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna do it. So, this one. Utterly Wicked by Dorothy Morrison. Hexes, Curses, and Other Unsavory Notions. I'm curious, because the last book I read on, like, what was it? Curses, Hexes, and something else. Crossroads, something, I don't remember. I didn't like the book at all. And so, but I've liked Dorothy Morrison. So I'm curious. The cover is gorgeous. It is definitely a catch your eye kind of cover. And I probably should have gone through my list better, but I just literally grabbed the stack and came down. So the last one we've got is like kind of a random one. But I wanted to read through one of these because you can kind of look this up on their website. Kind of. So this is Llewellyn's Witches Spell a Day Almanac, Holidays, Lore, Spells, Rituals, and Meditations. This is the 2021. They have other ones, well, 2021. 2020 edition. So thankfully, we shouldn't have the awful of, oh, the unprecedented times conversation that a lot of these almanacs have had. Thankfully, it was written before then, so we shouldn't have that. But I have seen them talk every day. Llewellyn posts about the spell a day. And I'm pretty sure it comes from this because, again, it's spell a day. And you can also look up on their website, like, archived things, but I don't know that it has them all. But they, like, range in all sorts of stuff. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna start going through these, see if it's worth the while. And here we are. That's the final one because I decided, why not? So those are the latest books that I've gotten from my local library. I am blessed to live in a fairly big county, which means you can rent from any of the libraries within the county. And I actually found out that you can request from outside of your county. It just takes weeks. Like, I did look up my first witchy book I got from my library, which is ironic because now it's not there. So I have to request it from outside the county. But it says that it'll ship in like, I think it was like 1 to 8 weeks. So it'll get here eventually, but yeah, living in the county that I do, we have a lot of cities. It is the most diverse of the places in Utah, which helps a lot. We have a lot of options here, and it's a lot more open than other places in the state. So I am really surprised. We used to not have that many options. We do now, but not everyone's gonna have that luxury where you live. But it's nice when you can find things at the library. Just make sure that, like, you have to research kind of randomly. None of these books pull up when you search them by name, by author. It's usually publisher and like sometimes keyword search, but you always have to go into the advanced option to find these. They do not make it easy to find this section, which is a bummer. So do keep that in mind. Like, it can be really difficult to find witchy books. I don't think the library systems, especially places like here in Utah, I'd assume the Bible Belt areas, stuff like that, we don't have the easiest search option. They don't want to make it very easy for people to find. So do keep that in mind. But again, Here in Utah, it's like Mormonville, and we have a bunch of witchy books, which is really surprising. So anyways, I would love to hear your most excited ones from my list and what books you are reading in the comments down below. Huge thank you to my patrons. I'll have their names over here. If you would like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Speaking of books, I did write one if you wanted to check it out. I have talked about it plenty of times on my channel. It is my book called The Death Journey. I go by the pen name Raven Wells, and that is my practical guide to handling death as a witch. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon. Blessed be.